The 2026 Formula One season is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable in recent history. We've talked a lot about the new engines, the new chassis, and the potential for a massive shake-up in the pecking order. But there's a hidden problem with the 2026 regulations that nobody is talking about enough. It's not about the engines, it's not about the aero, it's about the drivers. The 2026 cars are going to be incredibly complex to operate, and this could create a huge gap between the best drivers and the rest of the grid. Some drivers will have a massive advantage, while others could be left behind. The complexity of the 2026 cars is on a whole new level. 50% of the car's power will come from the battery. This is a massive increase, and it will require a completely different approach to energy management. Drivers will have 3 different engine modes: boost, overtake, and standard. On top of that, the cars will have active aerodynamics, which can be switched between a high downforce and a low drag setting. And to replace DRS, there will be an override mode that provides an extra burst of power for a limited time. It's no wonder that drivers are worried they'll spend half the lap twiddling switches on their steering wheels. The steering wheel itself will become a mini computer with more buttons, dials, and screens than ever before. Drivers will need to have a deep understanding of what each button does and how it affects the car's performance. A wrong button press at the wrong time could be the difference between winning and losing a race. This complexity creates an energy management nightmare. The battery capacity is limited to 8.5 megajoules per lap, so drivers will have to make crucial decisions about where to harvest energy and where to deploy it. Energy management is now directly coupled to aerodynamics, so a wrong decision could cost significant lap time. It's not just about driving fast anymore, it's about being smart. Drivers will have to think like engineers, constantly calculating the optimal energy strategy for each corner and each straight. It's a level of mental workload that we've never seen before in F1. The drivers will have to process a huge amount of information from the car's sensors and from their race engineer, and then make split-second decisions based on that information. It's a skill that will separate the good drivers from the great ones. Every lap will be like solving a complex puzzle while driving at over 300 kilometers per hour. The drivers are already expressing their concerns. Charles Leclerc described his first simulator run in the 2026 Ferrari as not enjoyable. Most drivers are worried about the complexity and the steep learning curve. The mental workload will be massive, and it will take a special kind of driver to master these new cars. Interestingly, Lewis Hamilton is reportedly the only driver who is looking forward to the challenge. He's always been known for his ability to adapt to new regulations and his technical understanding of the car, so it's no surprise that he sees this as an opportunity. Hamilton has always been a driver who thrives on a challenge, and the 2026 regulations will certainly provide that. He's also one of the most experienced drivers on the grid, and that experience will be invaluable in mastering these new cars. His years of working with engineers and understanding the technical side of Formula One will give him a big advantage. This is where the smart driver advantage comes in. Red Bull's Helmut Marko has already said that the 2026 regulations will favour drivers who can drive fast and think. He specifically mentioned Max Verstappen as having this advantage. Drivers with more mental bandwidth, who can process information and make strategic decisions while driving at the limit, will dominate. It's not just about raw speed anymore. Strategic thinking will be required throughout every single lap. The ability to manage the complex systems of the car will be just as important as the ability to hit the apex perfectly. Verstappen has already shown his ability to think strategically during a race, often making his own strategy calls from the cockpit. This ability will be even more valuable in 2026. He's the kind of driver who can be pushing at the limit while also thinking 3 corners ahead about his energy strategy. So, who benefits from this? Drivers like Verstappen, Hamilton, and Lando Norris, who are known for their intelligence and their ability to process information while driving fast, will have a clear advantage. Younger drivers who are more tech-savvy might also adapt faster to the new systems. On the other hand, drivers who rely purely on instinct and feel could struggle. The days of just jumping in the car and driving by the seat of your pants are over. Teams with better driver coaching and simulation will also have an edge. The preparation for 2026 has already begun, and the teams that can best prepare their drivers for this new challenge will be the ones who come out on top. Teams will need to invest heavily in their simulation facilities and their driver development programs to ensure that their drivers are ready for the challenge of 2026. The teams that have been preparing their drivers for this complexity for the longest time will have a big advantage when the season starts. The performance characteristics of the 2026 cars will also be very different. They will be slower through the corners due to the reduced downforce, but faster on the straights thanks to the active aerodynamics and narrower chassis. The increased electrical deployment will also lead to faster acceleration out of the corners. Overall lap times are expected to be similar to the current cars, but the driving style will be completely different. Setup will also be incredibly complex, as teams will have to find the right balance between aerodynamic grip and energy efficiency. The cars will be more on a knife edge, and it will be easier for drivers to make mistakes. This could lead to more exciting and unpredictable races. We could see drivers who were previously midfield runners suddenly becoming competitive if they can master the systems better than their rivals. All of this has huge implications for the 2026 season and beyond. The driver lineup choices that teams make will be more crucial than ever. Teams will need to look at their drivers not just as fast racers, but as technical experts who can handle the mental pressure of managing these incredibly complex machines. Experience with complex systems will be a highly valued commodity. Rookie drivers will face an even steeper challenge, as they will have to learn not only the tracks and the car, but also the incredibly complex systems. The gap between the best drivers and the rest of the grid could widen significantly. Teams might even start to prioritize intelligent drivers over pure speed. A driver who is slightly slower but can manage the car's systems perfectly might be more valuable than a driver who is faster but makes mistakes with the energy management. This could lead to some surprising driver moves in the coming years. We could see teams looking outside of the traditional F2 pipeline for drivers with experience in other complex racing series. The 2026 season could also see a shift in how teams approach race strategy. With so much complexity in the cars, the role of the race engineer will become even more important. The communication between driver and engineer will need to be perfect, and drivers who can quickly understand and implement strategy changes will have a big advantage. In conclusion, the 2026 regulations are about to introduce a new and fascinating element to Formula One. The mental game is about to become more important than ever, and this could reshape the entire driver market. The teams that can find and develop drivers with the right combination of speed and intelligence will be the ones who succeed in this new era of F1. What do you think? Which current drivers do you think will adapt best to the 2026 complexity? Let us know in the comments.